Homer Simpson, is what happens when you give a grown man the impulse control of a goldfish and access to nuclear reactor controls. The guy literally caused a meltdown because he was using a drinking bird toy to press buttons while he ate donuts. That's not even a joke. That actually happened, and somehow Springfield didn't get wiped off the map. His relationship with Bart is basically assault played for laughs. Choking your 10-year-old son every time he annoys you isn't discipline, it's just straight up violence with a laugh track. The kid says something dumb, and Homer's hands go right for the throat like he's trying to squeeze out a confession. Child services in Springfield must be run by the same people who handle their nuclear safety. The Springfield Dam incident shows Homer at his absolute worst. He was supposed to inspect the dam, but decided sleeping and eating were more important than making sure the entire town didn't drown. When it finally breaks, thousands of people lose their homes, and Homer's response is basically, "Whoops, my bad." The man has caused more property damage than a small war and never spent a day in jail. Then there's the time he sold his soul for a donut. Not metaphorically, he literally wrote, "I sell my soul for a donut," and ate the thing anyway. Marge spent the episode trying to save him from eternal damnation because her dad valued a pastry over his immortal spirit. That's the kind of decision-making we're dealing with here. Marge Simpson acts like she's the moral center of the family, but she's caused serious damage when her self-righteousness kicks into overdrive. She got Itchy and Scratchy banned because she didn't like cartoon violence, which is rich coming from someone married to a man who strangles children. Her crusade put people out of work and ruined a show millions of kids loved because she decided her parenting standards should be everyone's problem. Her gambling addiction nearly destroyed the family finances and her marriage. She blew their savings at the casino while Homer was actually trying to be responsible for once, which is saying something. Marge sat there pulling slot machine levers while her kids were basically being raised by a TV set at home. The pretzel wagon incident is pure Marge chaos. She started a business and immediately got involved with the mob when things went south. Instead of just admitting failure like a normal person, she let organized crime into her life and put her entire family at risk because she couldn't handle competition from a donut shop. She's also weirdly controlling when she thinks she knows best. Marge has ruined parties, humiliated her husband publicly, and forced her worldview onto others with the confidence of someone who thinks suburban mom logic beats everyone else's lived experience. Her need to fix everything often makes situations 10 times worse. Bart Simpson has committed actual felonies disguised as pranks. The kid doesn't just put whoopee cushions on chairs, he destroys lives and property like he's training to be a supervillain. His pranks have legal consequences that somehow never stick because Springfield's justice system is held together with duct tape and incompetence. Faking his own death and letting the whole town mourn him crosses every line imaginable. People genuinely grieve for this kid while he hid in a treehouse thinking it was hilarious. The emotional damage he caused his family, especially Marge, was real trauma that Bart treated like another Tuesday. His treatment of Principal Skinner goes beyond typical student-teacher conflict. Bart has ruined the man's career multiple times, destroyed his relationship with his mother, and made Skinner's life a living nightmare. There's pranking your principal, and then there's systematic psychological warfare against a man who's already dead inside. The Australia incident turned Bart into an international criminal. He caused a diplomatic crisis because he couldn't just accept punishment for a prank call. Instead, he mooned an entire country and forced his family to flee like political refugees. Most kids get grounded. Bart gets countries ready to declare war. Hey, by the way, I'm posting pretty consistently here, so it would mean a lot if you could subscribe to the channel and drop a like for the algorithm. Lisa Simpson thinks being the smartest person in the room gives her the right to play God with everyone's lives. Her intelligence is real, but so is her condescending attitude toward anyone who doesn't meet her intellectual or moral standards. She's basically that person who corrects your grammar in the middle of an argument and thinks they won. She sabotaged Homer's career as a food critic because she didn't approve of his methods. Never mind that he was finally good at something and enjoying himself. Lisa decided his success didn't meet her ethical standards, so she burned it down. That's not helping. That's control disguised as caring. Her vegetarianism episode is peak Lisa manipulation. She didn't just make a personal choice. She tried to force everyone around her to conform to her new lifestyle, then ruined Homer's barbecue out of spite. She literally hijacked a community event to make a political statement, and somehow everyone just forgave her because she's 8 and plays saxophone. The whole Lisa the Iconoclast situation shows her at her most self-righteous. She discovered a historical truth and nearly destroyed Springfield's entire identity over it. Not considering that maybe some things matter more than being technically correct, she was ready to crush the town's spirit just to prove she was the smartest person in the room. Maggie Simpson. Looks like an innocent baby, but she's shot more people than most action movie heroes. She took down Mr. Burns with a handgun, which raises about 1,000 questions about gun safety in the Simpson household. A toddler with access to firearms is basically a landmine that crawls around your house. Her fights with Gerald the baby are straight up gang warfare in diaper form. These two have had multiple violent confrontations that would get adults arrested for assault. Maggie might not talk, but she communicates through violence like a tiny mob enforcer. The incident where she drove Homer's car shows she's actually dangerously competent when nobody's watching. A baby who can operate a vehicle is either a genius or a serious hazard to public safety. Probably both. Springfield's already chaotic enough without adding infant drivers to the mix. She's caused accidental chaos that feels less accidental the more you think about it. For someone who can't speak, Maggie sure seems aware of exactly what she's doing when things go wrong around her. That pacifier might be hiding the mind of Springfield's most calculating resident, Grandpa Abe Simpson. Abandoned Homer when he was a kid because raising a child was too inconvenient. That's not just bad parenting, that's, I don't want to deal with this anymore, taken to its logical extreme. Homer's entire personality makes sense when you realize his dad basically yeeted him out of his life. He scammed an entire nursing home full of residents multiple times, stealing from people who are already in the worst situation possible. Taking money from elderly people who have nothing is next-level low-life behavior. Even if he is elderly himself, it's like stealing from yourself, but worse, because everyone else suffers too. His selfish decisions during World War II caused problems that lasted decades. Abe makes choices thinking only about himself in the moment, never considering how his actions ripple forward in time. The man operates on pure impulse and then acts surprised when consequences show up 30 years later. The way he treats Homer as an adult is just a continuation of his lifetime of neglect. He guilt trips his son constantly while providing zero actual value to the family. Grandpa's existence is basically a tax on Homer's sanity that never stops billing. Mr. Burns is what you get when you give unlimited wealth to someone with the morality of a cartoon villain, which he literally is. The man blocked out the sun because it competed with his nuclear power plant. That's not business strategy. That's supervillain behavior that should have him in an international prison. His treatment of employees goes beyond typical corporate evil. Burns has knowingly exposed workers to radiation, denied healthcare, and created working conditions that would make a sweatshop look appealing. The guy sees human beings as disposable resources that occasionally talk back. He's attempted murder multiple times and faced zero real consequences. Burns has tried to kill Bart, threatened countless employees, and participated in schemes that endangered the entire town. His wealth makes him functionally immune to justice, which is probably the most realistic thing about The Simpsons. The environmental damage Burns has caused is basically ecological terrorism. He dumps toxic waste, kills wildlife for fun, and runs a nuclear plant with fewer safety standards than a lemonade stand. Springfield's three-eyed fish aren't a quirky local feature. They're evidence of crimes against nature. Krusty the Clown built his entire empire on exploiting children and selling them dangerous garbage. His merchandise has caused injuries, his stunts have killed people, and his products are basically hazardous waste with cartoon branding. Every Krusty product should come with a warning label and a lawyer on standby. His gambling addiction and mob connections dragged Bart into actual danger multiple times. Krusty borrowed money from criminals and then used a kid to solve his problems. That's not mentorship. That's using a child as a human shield against your own terrible decisions. The fake death scheme he pulled was pure selfishness disguised as entertainment. Krusty faked his death to avoid taxes and legal problems, letting people genuinely mourn him while he lived it up in hiding. He came back expecting applause when he should have expected arrest warrants. His treatment of Sideshow Bob created Springfield's most dangerous criminal. Krusty's years of abuse and humiliation drove an intelligent man into becoming a serial attempted murderer. Not saying Bob's crimes are justified, but Krusty definitely shares some blame for creating that monster. Sideshow Bob is Springfield's proof that intelligence without morality creates the worst kind of criminal. The man has tried to kill Bart more times than most people have tried anything in their lives. His murder attempts are elaborate, theatrical, and consistently foiled by his own ego. He rigged an election and became mayor through fraud, then immediately tried to demolish the town. Most politicians wait at least a few months before revealing their evil plans. Bob went straight for the destroy everything button like he was speedrunning corruption. His obsession with Bart has endangered innocent people repeatedly. Bob doesn't just want revenge, he wants to punish everyone associated with his humiliation. The man holds grudges like they're his retirement plan. The nuclear bomb plot proves Bob isn't just dangerous, he's apocalyptically dangerous. He was ready to blow up Springfield because a kid embarrassed him on television. That's not villainy. That's a temper tantrum with weapons-grade uranium. Mo Sislak, loneliness has turned him into Springfield's most pathetic criminal. The man has faked his own death for insurance money, which is sad even by Springfield standards. Most people fake their death to escape danger. Mo did it to escape his own miserable life. His treatment of customers ranges from hostile to actively dangerous. Mo serves drinks in a bar that's basically a hazmat site and threatens violence against anyone who complains. The health violations alone should have shut him down decades ago. The identity theft incidents show Mo at his most desperate. He's stolen names, personas, and lives from other people because his own existence is too depressing to maintain. That's not reinventing yourself, that's committing fraud because you hate who you actually are. His involvement in illegal activities goes way beyond serving alcohol without proper permits. Mo has been connected to smuggling, theft, and various schemes that would get a normal person serious prison time. His bar is basically a front for sadness and crime in equal measure. Chief Wiggum represents everything wrong with Springfield's legal system compressed into one incompetent cop. The man has arrested innocent people while ignoring actual crimes happening right in front of him. His badge is basically a toy that came with real authority somehow. He's caused more harm through stupidity than most criminals cause through malice. Wiggum has made bad situations worse by showing up, which is impressive for someone whose job is literally to make situations better. The town would probably be safer if he just stayed in his car eating donuts. His corruption is almost charming compared to his incompetence. Wiggum takes bribes and ignores crimes, but even when he tries to do the right thing, he messes it up so badly you wish he just stayed corrupt. At least then the damage would be predictable. The amount of times he's endangered citizens through negligence should have him fired and possibly jailed. Wiggum treats police work like a hobby he's not particularly interested in, and Springfield suffers for it constantly. Apu nahisipime petalon. Runs the quick E-Mart like a scam operation disguised as a convenience store. Expired products, price gouging, and questionable hygiene standards are just Tuesday for Apu. The man sells food that should legally be classified as biological weapons. His hiring of illegal workers wasn't just breaking the law, it was exploiting desperate people for profit. Apu paid them nothing and housed them in conditions that made the store's back room look like luxury. That's not business savvy. That's just being a terrible person with an entrepreneurial spirit. He's lied to customers about product quality so many times, it's basically his business model. Apu will tell you something is fresh while selling you something that expired during the Reagan administration. His customer service smile hides the soul of someone who knows exactly what he's doing. The only thing that saves Apu from being a complete villain is his genuine moments of decency, which makes his crimes even more frustrating. He's capable of being good, but chooses profit over ethics almost every time. Nelson Muntz has been terrorizing Springfield's kids for years like bullying is his full-time career. The kid doesn't just steal lunch money, he systematically destroys the self-esteem of every weak target he finds. His ha-ha catchphrase is basically the sound of childhood trauma being created in real time. His violence goes beyond typical schoolyard fighting. Nelson has beaten kids badly enough that they probably needed medical attention, and nobody stops him because Springfield adults apparently don't believe in intervention. He's learned that consequences don't exist if you're scary enough. The targeting of weaker students shows Nelson isn't just mean, he's strategic about his cruelty. He picks victims who can't fight back and makes their lives miserable for entertainment. That's not just being a bully, that's being a predator with a training bra. Even his brief moments of kindness feel temporary before he slides back into being awful. Nelson will have a touching moment with Lisa, then go right back to tormenting Ralph the next day. His capacity for good makes his choice to be cruel even worse. Principal Skinner abuses his authority like it's his job description. He punishes students based on personal grudges and protects himself before protecting anyone under his care. The man treats Springfield Elementary like his personal kingdom where he's a very insecure tyrant. His lies to preserve his reputation have cost other people their jobs and opportunities. Skinner will throw anyone under the bus if it means saving face with Superintendent Chalmers. His entire career is built on covering up problems instead of solving them. The fake identity situation, where he wasn't actually Seymour Skinner, revealed someone willing to live a complete lie rather than face his real past. That level of deception takes commitment to being dishonest that most people can't even imagine. His treatment of students reflects someone who sees teaching as a power trip instead of a responsibility. Skinner doesn't care about education. He cares about control and maintaining order so his life stays predictable and comfortable. Comic book guy. Treats his store like a temple to his own superiority where customers are just annoying tourists. He insults everyone who walks in, judges their choices, and acts like selling comics makes him an authority on all aspects of life. His negativity is so toxic, it probably violates environmental regulations. He's ruined people's enjoyment of hobbies by being the ultimate gatekeeping nightmare. Guy doesn't just disagree with opinions, he treats different preferences like personal attacks that must be destroyed with condescension. His entire personality is, well, actually, given human form and a ponytail. The way he treats customers shows someone who actively hates the people keeping his business alive. Most store owners pretend to like customers for money. Comic book guy can't even manage that basic level of professionalism. He's openly hostile and somehow stays in business through sheer spite. His belief that he's smarter than everyone else makes him Springfield's most annoying resident. At least villains like Burns and Bob do interesting evil things. Comic book guy just stands behind a counter, making everyone around him slightly more miserable through pure smugness. If you enjoyed this video, I'm going to be posting a lot here, so please subscribe, and thanks for watching.